Okay. Okay, so I'm the only one here right now. Okay, that's cool. Okay. So let's exit that full screen. I don't want to see myself face on right now. Okay. All right, I guess you get to watch me working quietly. Okay. Ah, here we go. So quiet. Okay. So now I'm curious if I should like just sit here and talk to myself, which is totally, I can totally do that. So, because we can always use this later, right? Right. So let's go to articles. And I sneezed. Oh, I made my triple sneeze too. I have a pet triple. Okay. So let's look at this. Okay, so I am going to be starting next week a 30-minute author live stream on different topics. So for these topics, hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I thought I was like being subtle and not getting in your stream. Don't cross the streams.
You should do like a like the stair step thing, you know. Okay. Anyway, this is what this is what I live with, people. Yes. 30-minute author live stream. So the purpose of these, oh, Scott's here. Hey, Scott. How are you doing? Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me. I can't hear you, Scott. Hello? Try coming out and coming back in. Maybe that'll do it. I hear typing. Okay, you're hearing. Okay. So, Scott, you have
Yep.
my full and undivided attention for like the next 15 minutes or so.
Okay, can you hear me? I'm trying to figure out if I have a mic.
I can hear you.
Oh, great. Okay. Wow, it's all just working then. How exciting.
Yes. So, how are you coming along with your book? I know last time we talked, I think you said you were working with like trying to find experts.
Um, yes, actually, I've managed to contact a few of them. The book is basically I'm developing the table of contents, the chapter outline, setting things up for that, starting to write some of the introductory material. I'm pretty well connected with sort of an inner circle who know the details of what I'm doing. It's a book on performance modifications for Subarus.
Okay.
And fortunately, I used to participate pretty heavily in Portland-based motorsports in which Subarus were very heavily off-road rally. So I've got most of the people that I need to, or sort of like I said, I have a core of about 6 people that I've already contacted some of, and that essentially some of those I think will need to lead me in with the rest of it. But so in that sense, it's coming along, a little slowly, but it'll pick up steam.
Okay. Do you have a plan or a strategy for how you're going to interview them and then incorporate them, I can speak really, into the book itself?
Not at a high level, I guess, and that's a really good question, because I've sort of been assuming that when I find the folks from Surgeline Tuning, Tim Bailey is somebody that I used to spend a lot of time with 10, 12 years ago. I've contacted with him, and when I get to the point where we're talking about the electronic side of things, that's really his expertise. So I have, for instance, I've got basically tabs and chapters within tabs in the outline table of contents that I've got so far. And so one of those tabs will be engine modifications. One of the chapters in there will be electric, and so it'll be a combination of interviewing Tim, finding out what he has to say about it, but then also one of the things the publisher really wants, and I can't remember, it's something like 500 photographs. So
Wow.
yeah, it's going to be a very picture intensive, which for the electronic side, it's like, well, I'll get a screen capture of the readouts, that's it. But they also want, for instance, when we're talking about how do you improve the brakes, how do you do that? They'll want me to, be taking pictures of somebody who's doing this, and that's really, that's sort of the thing that now that I find myself talking about it, that's what I need to sort of step up on, is locating some of the folks who are going to be doing these modifications to something that falls within the model years that this book is about.
Now, in your organization, you mentioned that you had an outline and then you had chapters and tabs within the outline.
Mm-hmm.
Have you considered using a system like Calendly, Calndly, to coordinate?
No, I've never heard of it. What does it do?
So what it does is it connects to your Google or your Google Calendar, or to your Outlook calendar, whichever online calendar you use.
Mm-hmm.
And what you can do is you can say, I will take appointments from Monday through Friday from 1 to 5 every day for this amount of time, like a month or something. And then it'll give you a little link, and you send the link to the people that you're trying to schedule, and then they can choose the time themselves, so you're not going back and forth on emails.
Brilliant. I can also use that on the monthly articles that I've got going on for another automotive magazine, which
Mm-hmm.
ended up being very heavy into phone interviews.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, wonderful idea. Okay, Calendly.
And there's other alternatives. I mean, I don't think you pay for Calendly, but there's other ones that are free too, I know. But they're scheduling programs.
Okay, well, I just paid for MileIQ, and I've been using that on my smartphone to keep track of mileage to and from places where go to interview somebody for work, and
Right.
it'll make a big difference in keeping track of going to a shop, for instance, to take photographs of somebody who's putting all new shiny stuff on a car. But Calendly, okay, yeah. I mean, if it's as long as it's not like an Adobe $800 license.
No. I think they have one version where you can buy, like, you can like charge people for your time, and that one's like $30 a month. So
I don't think I'll be charging people for the time, but yeah, I mean, if it's a reasonable price, that's certainly worth it.
Yeah,
wow, perfect.
It just makes your life so much easier.
Yeah.
Now, how are you yourself taking the photos, or are you going to be outsourcing photos?
Mostly I will be taking the photos. If it turns some of the technical subject matter experts, SME from tech writing,
Right.
Some of the SMEs that I'm going to be working with will probably have vehicles of their own that they'll want to talk about. For instance, one of them is in Vermont. The Subaru Rally Team USA is located in Vermont, and so they are one of the people I'm going to be talking to about how do they prep their cars. What do they do? And so in their cases, I'm sure I'll just get releases from photographs rather than flying to Vermont. As much fun as that would be.
Gotcha.
There's not a lot of room in the budget for too much travel. But no, for the most part, I'll be taking the pictures myself. I have really good digital camera.
Right.
I've
you take good photos.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's and what's especially fun is I've got the full lighting setup that we bought a couple of years ago that I sort of plugged in once and went ooh, and then never really figured out. So we need to get that. It's in storage like everything else.
I gotcha.
Yeah, right, and get used to it. But I mean, it has the sensor so that if when I take a flash picture, it will automatically do the flashes. I can set up lighting. We bought it from a guy who used to make money on the side taking portraits at for soccer teams and Girl Scout groups and things like that. So it's it has some different backdrops, which I don't think I'll need.
Right.
Want a field of daisies behind the transmission.
Look, it's a carburetor in a field of daisies. I don't even know if they have carburetors anymore. I don't think they do.
No, it's same thing, but it's all electronic now. So
yeah.
Okay.
Now, have you thought about marketing yet?
Not a lot. And actually, that's one of the things I want to, definitely ramp up on. One advantage, since this is with an existing publisher, they have their, they have a page on Amazon, they sell to bookstores, they sell to clubs, but anything I can do to, to help market it, to get it out to more than, they're expecting, just to put things in perspective, they are expecting this volume to sell about 10,000 copies.
That's pretty decent.
Fortunately, not only are Subarus very popular for this kind of use, people love them, people love tweaking them, but Portland is sort of the center of the universe when it comes to high-performance Subarus. There are something like Portland, a city of 1.25 million people, has something like 9 Subaru dealerships.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Yes, it's incredible, and that includes Vancouver across the way. But and actually a lot of people in Washington State buy their cars in Oregon because we don't have sales tax. So it a lot of reasons for it. But yes, there's huge market here for events, for activities, and especially we've got Mount Hood on one side and torrential rains in the middle of the valley. So all-wheel drive is important. All-wheel drive is to Portland what a convertible is to Malibu. That's best way to put it.
So I'm taking a look, and there are a ton of Subaru groups on Facebook.
Aha.
like a ridiculous amount. There's an Oregon Subaru club with 3.3 thousand members.
Okay, I am aware of them, and I think I've got their page bookmarked. Yeah, that's a good one. There's gosh, I'm trying to remember. The Subaru Performance Enthusiasts Club was founded in about 2003, just after I bought mine, and it, I think, has pretty much gone by the wayside. I don't think anything's happened since 2008, 2009.
There's a ton of them. If you just do a search on Facebook for Subaru and groups, there's a lot. You don't necessarily want to go in there and be like, hey, I'm writing a book. Here's my book. Buy it now. But if you want to share like, hey, I'm working on this book about fixing these cars up and doing all sorts of technical things that you would know to do if you had a Subaru and that was your interest.
Exactly. It's
What's your experience with this particular upgrade?
That's a great place to go, and then of course also to try to see, hey, is anybody looking to install Acme Anvil brand shocks? Do you think would you like me to, can I come and take pictures? Are you going to do it at a shop? And then find out, actually, fortunately, one of the resources that I have is a shop that does a lot of work on these cars, and so there's that's going to be important. I won't have to be doing all the work and buying all the parts.
Yeah, thank God. But I would say if you can find the time to start posting a little bit in each one, that'll give you that will start to create relationships. And the thing about book marketing nowadays is it is really less about advertisement, and it's more about making the reader care about the subject and about you. People buy books that they care about. I mean, why should they buy a Subaru book from you? I mean, why shouldn't they buy it from, I don't know, Bob the Builder?
Right, Bob the Subaru Builder in this case, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's actually a really good one. And then you and I have discussed a little bit on, I don't remember whether it was Facebook or whether it was on the on your marketing authors page. So, and I know several other people have essentially author Facebook pages. I mean, I have a bunch of different Facebook pages for different interests of mine. So I certainly know about setting that up. I'm thinking that this might be a useful way to, pardon me, last little bit of the winter cold, might be a useful way to sort of partition and organize commentary on the books so that it doesn't get lost in, funny cat videos and everything else that comes through my personal Facebook. Does that seem like a worthwhile way? And I guess the question is, should I phrase it as Scott Fisher author, or should I set up a specific Facebook page for the book with the book title in the Facebook page? What are your feelings about that?
Since you do write books, and you write a lot, I mean, you write more than just books, you write articles and all that kind of thing, I would put the page under your own name. And we have Tarika with us, who is also a book marketer.
Oh, great. I saw a new face show up there in the bar. Wonderful.
Hey guys, sorry, I was wrapping up another call. And it's interesting that you just asked that question, Scott, because I was sharing with Elizabeth this morning. I literally just went through the same process of changing over my Facebook page. I initially had it as my consulting business name and realized that the way that I wanted to use the Facebook page was more as a personal branding, and for you it would be author branding. So yeah, I totally agree with Elizabeth. You would want to go with an author page because you publish so much more than just books, and then that way you can brand yourself the author versus just one book at a time.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that, but yes, there are other places where Elizabeth already mentioned the Calendly project, which I could use to schedule calls for an ongoing series of magazine articles I'm writing, and use that to know when to talk to people, and obviously a Facebook page based on all the writing that I'm doing. Really, yeah, that could. Okay, great. That's like the, I just got my golden ticket for this conversation. That's
Awesome.
That's why we're here. Okay, is there anything else we can help you with today, or you want to, excuse me, let me get that hairball up. Excuse me, you want to work on that and come back, or?
I think so. I think, like I said, that's my golden ticket for today. I have some other calls to make for the, see, I'm catching it now. So I do have some people to call, and sounds like I need to look into getting Calendly, and hope it, yeah, as you say, if it works with my my Google Calendar. Oh, and as a side benefit, I currently have the outline and all the structure and all the information for the Subaru book in Google Docs, which has been wonderful because it means that I can refer to them from my phone or my iPad. And when I got the iPad, I got a neat little folding keyboard that's really almost as useful as the desktop keyboard. So just to plug, it's going to be, I think, very easy, since I'm going to be doing a lot of the work on site with some of my subject matter experts, or at clubs or out at events or whatever. The ability to write from literally anywhere, I think, is going to make this a lot easier than the books that I wrote in the 90s, when I had to be chained into my office to be typing.
Hey, Scott, would you mind sharing the type of keyboard that you got? I'm actually in the market for an iPad myself, and the keyboard is one of the biggest things that has kept me so far from buying one. It sounds like you really like the one you have.
This one I bought at the Apple Store when I bought the iPad back in May. Let me step away. The charger, the iPad was on the charger. It doesn't have a name on it, but as I said, wait a minute, here it does. It does indeed. And it's upside down. Let me get it right. Well, designed by Apple California. As I say, I bought this one at the Apple Store when I bought the. What I can do is take a picture of it. Anyway, it folds into a nice cover. Plastic, waterproof, a little bit of shock resistance, etc. But and then it has a little triple fold. So yeah, I will. Gee, for our next act, I'll try to figure out how to make the camera work on my Zoom call. What I'll definitely do is take some pictures of it and post it, share it with Elizabeth.
That's perfectly fine. Whatever is easiest for you, and I appreciate it. I didn't want to make it too much work, so really, no worries.
And it's the nice thing is because it's magnetically attaches to the side of the iPad. It's reasonable to use. It's smaller than my Mac's desktop Bluetooth keyboard, but it's usable, and it's a lot better than trying to poke at the screen and having the having autocorrect screw you on what you think you've typed.
Absolutely.
And it's small enough that it fits into my nice little brown portfolio instead of having to bring the whole laptop. It's much smaller, much lighter.
Exactly, and that's my goal. So I appreciate you sharing. Thanks.
Okay.
Awesome. Tarika, you have anything for us?
I don't know. I'm going to take a look around the group and see if there's anything that someone needs. Like I said, I came into the call late, so I'm not sure what I missed, but glad I was able to come in at the last minute and bring a little value.
You brought plenty of value, and so did Scott. It's not about bringing value, it's about bringing yourself.
Well, I do that, so.
There we go.
Yeah, you didn't really miss much. It was a few minutes of me talking to the camera and then Scott coming on.
So Sounds good.
So,
After Zoom
and
finished downloading.
this will be, I'm going to upload this to YouTube as a unlisted video, and I'll post the link in the 30-Minute Author app. That way you can refer back to it if you need to.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Hey, oh, I'm done, guys. So I guess I will see you online, and we'll see you next week.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Look
All
forward-
righty. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.